for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest have been on fire for several weeks, and Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "The fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Astrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, "We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away," end quote. With his company stock in freefall, Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne resigned as CEO Thursday, effective immediately, after he stunned investors by disclosing his entanglements with the deep state. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 56-year-old Byrne, who founded the company in 1999 and took it public 3 years later, will be succeeded by director Jonathan Johnson, who was with the company for 17 years and has recently served as president of Overstock's blockchain business. Byrne's resignation comes after conspiratorial comments from August 12th, where he confessed his role in the deep state. Byrne released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A job applicant totally nails an interview with the person who will make his life a living hell for the next 5 years. And adjusting several sliders on a recording studio's mixing console pays off big time. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, a study published by researchers at Johns Hopkins University revealed a direct correlation between breastfeeding and knowing exactly what's best for other people at all times. Overwhelming evidence indicated that the moment mothers begin breastfeeding, they develop a highly honed sense of what is wrong with others' approach to life, and were able to loudly enumerate those faults with total confidence in their accuracy. Researchers noted that the practice greatly boosted a young mother's immunity to the viewpoints of others. And in this week's Tech Report, a startup is very casual about its dress code and benefits. In other news, the Secretary of Interior says knocking down the Rocky Mountains could really open up the nation. And a woman is not going to let her husband of 60 years drag her into death at the same time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. 855-450-3733. This is, you are listening to one of the very few open phones radio talk shows still around. Usually you call up a talk show, they ask what you want to talk about, and they say, nope, we're talking about this. You can talk about this, but not that. Well, Free Talk Live is different. You choose a topic, you control the show, and keep it clean because we are on a whole mess of real radio stations, and the FCC gets all crazy if somebody drops an F-bomb or an S-bomb or any matter of bombs.
They also get crazy if you use their emergency alert tones without their permission. We can talk about that later if you want.
Absolutely. That's pretty crazy. And the we we're referring to is myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And I'm nobody.
We have had a interesting news cycle. So I did the show last night, which I usually don't do. But you wake up to some headlines, and it's just kind of like, wow, did the world take its crazy pills last night or not? And one of the stories that I had brought in for yesterday, I didn't get around to it, but then Ian brought it in too. So
we had the same one.
Exactly, yeah. That's definitely that's an indicator that we should probably talk about this. And yeah, Ian, as Ian mentioned, man, there's certain things you can't say on the radio, and you can't make certain sounds like
Careful.
I'm trying to get a fine. You know, when the emergency broadcast warnings come up, they have that tone, and the FCC
It's a little more unpleasant than the one you did, though.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can fine you over that.
Oh, I'm sure I could make a highly unpleasant tone. But the FCC felt that some people did it too well in the course of the day and fined $600,000 in penalties for false emergency alerts. My God. On Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission reached a handful of settlements with media outlets. These people agreed that, well, we'll pay you this. Unbelievable. Following investigations into whether they misused the emergency alert system tone. My gosh, I bet I did. I did misuse it. I didn't represent it as being the actual tone, but I went
Well, I don't think it was represented as being the actual tone.
At
least on The Walking Dead. I can comment on The Walking Dead. I follow that particular program.
Right.
I don't follow Jimmy Kimmel Live, so I don't know what the context. I don't know if the article gets into it either, but I don't know what skit it was used in there. I suspect it was a skit or something like that. But in the case of The Walking Dead, it's a fictional television program
about a zombie invasion, about a zombie outbreak.
Right. So I mean, it was
Well,
used.
what makes that tone special is does that tone trigger automated devices?
As near as I can tell, it triggers zombies.
Well, as far as I can tell, it triggers the FCC.
Yeah, it does.
But
yeah, I'm not sure.
So I do know a little bit about this, having worked in the industry for a long time. They have these boxes that sit in racks in studios. I think they're called the ENDEC, E-N-D-E-C, if I recall correctly.
Interesting.
I'm sure it's an acronym for something.
Right.
Anyway, it monitors some frequency that essentially the FCC uses kind of like a daisy chain situation, kind of like FidoNet from back in the day in some ways, for those that don't know. Anyway, the idea is one radio station plays the tones, and then it plays whatever the message is that follows the tones, whether it's this is just a test or there's an actual emergency. And then the sort of sister stations or substations or whatever you want to call them, the stations that are monitoring that frequency, their boxes pick that up, and then they relay that on the air. They basically break in over top of whatever's on the air. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter if your mic's open, you're playing a song or whatever. It just breaks over top of it. And it plays that back. And then so anybody that's monitoring your frequency for that will pick up from that, and so on and so forth. That's as I understand how that system works. So it playing on Jimmy Kimmel or on The Walking Dead, maybe on Jimmy Kimmel, because there you're talking about an ABC television program.
Broadcast stations.
Is probably being aired by mostly broadcast television stations, whereas The Walking Dead is a cable network program. And by the way, Kimmel was hit with $395,000 fine, so the $600,000 number that you cited was the total.
Right.
And The Walking Dead was hit for $104,000. So why the discrepancy? Maybe that's because Kimmel's on ABC. And there are stations that may get triggered by something like that. And then
I'm sorry, every time you say they might get triggered by that, that's just Makes it too politically correct.
In this case, literally triggering a machine to take over the airwaves and play back whatever Kimmel's skit was. Maybe that actually could have occurred, but certainly could not have, as I understand it, with The Walking Dead. I'm not a big cable TV watcher. I don't have it.
Right.
And I haven't since I, moved out of my parents' house. But I've never seen an emergency alert test on a cable system.
I'm trying to think.
On a cable channel or on the broadcast channels that you were watching over cable?
Oh.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Ian.
Right?
I don't know.
You don't see it on MTV.
Right.
You don't see it on...
Well, you don't see music videos either.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's what we're talking about here is I think it's ridiculous that the FCC can find a fictional show that doesn't even broadcast over the airwaves. It's a cable network program. American Movie Classics, I think, is what AMC stands for. That is a cable network. Now, that doesn't mean the FCC doesn't regulate cable networks, so, I'm not ultimately too surprised that they can get away with this.
Right.
But the regulations aren't quite as stringent on cable. That's why the South Park, for instance, has been saying the S-bomb on the air for years, and you will not hear that likely on whatever shows are on broadcast, NYPD Blue, or that's the last time I paid attention to broadcast television.
I think the S word has mainstreamed even more than that. I think they can play that South Park over airwaves. I'm not sure.
I can't believe that because you'll still get fined on broadcast radio for that.
Okay.
And so you will definitely get fined on broadcast television for that.
Well, it's interesting, though, because I think it was NYPD Blue. That was the cop show that was on that sort of it made its name for itself by, kind of pushing the boundaries of what was allowed. And I remember there was some story about them saying something that had never been said on broadcast TV before, and
I would love to be wrong.
That was
the sky didn't fall.
See, as I recall, that was the S word, and then the South Park episode that used the S word like 132 times or something was all about that episode of NYPD Blue.
Interesting.
And so it was kind of a parody. And I believe that overuse of the word brought forth the demons of standards and practices.
Gotcha.
Is what happened, which is what networks call the censors.
Yes.
Is standards and practices.
You can't call them censors. That sounds like they're censoring people.
But they are.
Well, they're standardizing and practicing.
Well, I don't have the wording in front of me, but I think the standards are community, sort of what would offend a given community. And you may be right here, Rich. Looks like NYPD Blue did say the S word, at least according to a Reddit thread where people are talking about this. The headline is, "When did the S word stop being censored?" And then there's a lot of chatter about this. They say that it was actually apparently South Park that was making fun of that episode of NYPD Blue. That's what somebody claims here.
Yeah, I claim that too.
I think I would say that the S word stopped being censored about 10 years after the S word made it into everyday common speech. Like when I was young, the S word wasn't used around your parents. That was a no-no. That was getting smacked in the backseat of the car by your dad. But eventually it sort of became more normalized, and people didn't care as much. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Should we be allowed to say words?
Or tones.
This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. investors with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. Free as in freedom. Free as in Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. That's the number you call if you want to be on the radio. You can also use Discord. Discord is a very cool app. You can download it on your laptop, your PC, your smartphone. Doesn't matter. Use your high-speed internet connection and your high-quality microphone, and you will sound like you are in the studio with us. The us in studios, myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And nobody.
And we've been talking about these FCC fines. This comes to us from The Verge. On Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission reached a handful of settlements with media outlets following investigations into whether they misused the emergency alert tone. The agency found that ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, AMC's The Walking Dead, Animal Planet's Lone Star Law, and Morello Radio Holdings all misuse the Emergency Alert System, EAS, tone, a sound that is blasted out of televisions and smartphones to warn people of emergencies like tornadoes, floods, and missing children. The companies have agreed to pay a total of $600,000 in civil penalties. I found it interesting that some shows paid more than others.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel apparently was the big one with $395,000 according to Deadline.com, and then $104,000 for The Walking Dead. Lone Star Law fined $68,000 for last year's airing of an actual WEA signal that was caught on crew members' phones as they were filming.
Now, that is not intentional.
It was not intentional.
It's these are
$68,000 though.
These are mistakes.
You're going to have to intentionally sign that check unless you want to go ahead and fight the FCC in court, and that's going to cost you probably more than $68,000 in attorney's fees.
Well, and what radio station or TV station is going to take on the FCC, knowing that is their livelihood?
That's right. None of them.
Yeah.
Now, this was not a radio station. It was Lone Star Law, which is, I guess, some kind of television show.
Yeah, television show. I think they pursue. I think it's game wardens, basically, in Texas.
There were this radio station group though that you mentioned. Morello Radio Holdings owns KDAY, AM and FM, and they were fined. And I think that's Fargo. I haven't checked. Was fined $67,000 for simulating an EAS attention signal in a promotion for its morning show. So the morning show host,
the morning zoo,
yeah. Tell in to Byron Marlin for the morning wake up fest or whatever they call it. Jimmy the intern will be out in a cow suit.
The FCC has a rule against using the tone outside of actual emergencies to, quote, protect the integrity, unquote, of the system. That's why you can't have it on your morning zoo show. That way listeners aren't confused when there's an actual emergency that warrants the alert.
Do you think the FCC could also fine you if, let's say, you took the emergency alert tone and put that as your ringtone on your phone, so every time your phone rings, it's the emergency alert tone?
We're going to find out right after the show. Quote, we remain concerned.
Well, we'd have to go to, FCC headquarters and all call each other.
Exactly. Quote, we remain concerned about the misuse of the EAS codes and EAS and WEA attention signals or simulations thereof to capture audiences' attention during advertisements, dramatic, entertainment, and educational programs, and at any other time that there is no genuine alert, unquote, the agency Enforcement Bureau said in a statement. The FCC may issue sanctions for such violations, including but not limited to monetary forfeitures.
I think that, this whole idea of the FCC can just issue a sanction to you. I don't think that necessarily means you have an obligation to pay them, right? Just like anybody can send you a bill and say, right, hey, you owe me for this. Well, you can come back and say, and I think Jay kind of touched on some of this last night, you have the right to come back to somebody who sends you a bill and says, well, I'd like to see the contract, please. You're saying I owe you this money. Right. I'm sorry. I honestly, if I said I was going to pay you for something you did, then I definitely want to do that, but I got to see proof that we have some kind of an agreement, because I don't remember you telling me you were going to paint my driveway.
Right. See, I think a licensed radio show or a licensed radio station, I think they're going to be able to find that
the station,
signed contract.
The station, yes. I agree with you there, because the station has asked permission to exist. But the producers of The Walking Dead, as I understand it, they don't have to go. It's a private, cable television produced program. They didn't have to go to the FCC and get some sort of a permit to shoot their essentially series of movies.
I'd wager that was the reason they chose to be on AMC and not be on CBS or
because
NBC.
You can show more, violence and gore, and you can curse more easily without fear. We can get more into the cursing aspect of things because we did touch on that on the last segment. Because I did pull a little bit of history up as far as what's the status of the S word on television and that sort of thing. But I don't think if the Walking Dead people didn't want to just be good corporate citizens, if they wanted to say, yeah, we're not going to pay this, and what would the FCC do to them?
Right. And before somebody calls up and
that what they're saying in the article is an oversimplification, and they probably, I'm guessing that whoever they actually issue a demand for payment to is probably like the network or the station, somebody they license.
It's the network.
So then it would be up to the network then to figure out the bookkeeping on how the Walking Dead people will
I can't imagine they have a license. I don't think there is such a thing. CNN doesn't have to have a license to have a cable channel.
And before somebody, and I know this is going to happen in one of our chat rooms, wow, you guys really talk a big line picking on the FCC, and why don't you just play the tone? Why don't you just do that?
I would never do something.
Well, the problem is that if we play the tone,
it puts our stations on the line.
Yeah, and those are stations we have great relationships with, and we don't want to put them in financial jeopardy because we decided to prove a point.
If you call
that's
and play
why we're
the tone,
not doing it.
We'll hit the dump button on it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, and I personally think this is pretty silly. The emergency EAS, they call it now, the emergency broadcast system is what it was when I was growing up. That was something we sort of joked about, and I gotta think that I had heard that in movies. It's not. I get it, and I get it that somebody could be tricked, but I don't think. The world is so full of pranksters with radio stations that they're, going to do this for ratings.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, if the emergency alert tones come up, I can't imagine. I mean, there must be somebody out there whose heart starts racing every time they hear them. But I don't think most people respond to them that way. I think most people are like, oh, God, now what?
Hey, Walking Dead's on.
I'm generally paralyzed by not caring very much.
Yeah, because half the time it's just a test, right?
Yeah.
So the old boy who cried wolf.
That's exactly
situation.
Is the emergency broadcast system? Is that the boy that cried wolf? Do you listen when it plays? That's a question.
Or do you tune out?
Yeah, do you zone out? 855-450 free. That's our number. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Are you able to set your own schedule, work, play, or sleep whenever you want? Are you free to date whomever you want, even if you're already in a serious relationship or marriage? You can live a life where you have full financial and sexual freedom without having to hide anything or lie to anyone. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create location-independent income and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. Also, hit us up on Discord. You can find out more at discord.freetalklive.com. We're talking about The Walking Dead and Jimmy Kimmel Live and Lone Star Law.
Normally we don't talk about pop culture.
Yeah, we don't. But these
guys
got fined by the FCC because they played or had playing in the background or accidentally recorded or used it as part of a gag. They played the emergency EAS. What's that stand for?
Emergency Alert System, I
Emergency Alert. See, to me, it'll always, for those of you, who are older than dirt, you'll remember it as the Emergency Broadcast System. Apparently, the government periodically has to rename things and
keep you on your toes.
Spend and waste taxpayer money renaming something.
Well, they just got a whole bunch of it back.
Yeah, they got
they blew because they got over $600,000 from these 4 different media entities.
I will wager that the government spent more than $600,000 in renaming the emergency broadcast system to the emergency alert system. There's no scale when it comes to government spending that they will not do.
I think as far as the system is concerned, though, I think their fines, while as silly as they may be, ABC Broadcast and the radio station group that they hit with fines both asked for a license, so they are agreeing to be regulated by the FCC. Therefore, I'm not, as upset about those fines because, hey, you guys asked for it.
Right.
Secondly, of course, I'd love to see the FCC just, disappear tomorrow. I'd rather they not exist at all. But The Walking Dead and that other law show, those sound like cable television. I know The Walking Dead's cable television. I don't know about this other show, but The Walking Dead certainly does not deserve this fine. That's a fictional program airing on a cable network, and I think it's
about zombies.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, I'm sorry if that was a spoiler, but The Walking Dead is about zombies.
Right.
And I guess the FCC's concern is somebody, maybe going about their day and they hear an emergency alert symbol, they look at their TV and there's all these damn zombies going crazy. What would one think? We're under zombie attack. I told you, Ethel. I told you they were going to do this.
Well, it does make me wonder who complained about this.
Right.
Somebody must have unless it was an FCC commissioner or some FCC bureaucrat watching the show,
right?
And they're like, I want to go after these guys. Or it was somebody who actually sent a complaint.
Yeah. The point being that Animal Planet and The Walking Dead are not broadcast on regular television. Now, I guess one could possibly it was through the use of the cable systems, and maybe a cable television system is seen as they are licensed.
There's some amount of regulation of the cable television world, but it's not as much as broadcast television. So it's shocking from that aspect. But, we did touch earlier on the question of profanity. If you want to get into that, we can, but I think we got somebody on the line.
We will, but we're going to go to My Dog Rex in Florida first. My Dog Rex, what's on your mind? This is Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. Thanks for letting me in.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I was thinking that with the emergency tone, if a libertarian candidate was on stage with the Republican and Democrat strikers, and they had the tone ready whenever the other two opened their mouth, and they hit that tone, emergency alert, liar and a thief, POS, piece of doggy dung
stuff.
Instead of saying, the S word. But
you're saying that the libertarian candidate should play the audio on stage to try to trigger television stations to cut away to an emergency alert?
Well, the emergency alert would be the lies coming out of the Republican and Democrat.
Yeah, it's cute.
Well, interestingly enough, there are certain things encoded in the EAS, and somebody has taken the time to decode these and put them on the internet. So we're definitely not going to play them. But, for example, you can play an emergency alert tone that will tell the equipment on the other line that there is a radiological hazard warning. Now, here's the one I want to use. It's called a law enforcement warning. Warning. There's law enforcement. Right, be on the lookout for law enforcement. It will be programmed. It can be programmed to indicate tropical storm watches, to tsunami warnings, all kinds of different stuff.
Of course, no one's saying that happened as a result of The Walking Dead actually playing these tones.
Right.
There's no one saying that anything happened as a result of those tones being played.
And that's an important point. Your system did not work as described, as did not do a cut. Well, we don't really have.
Well, there is no system hooked up to AMC. There's nobody monitoring that for EAS tones, so there was no system there.
Right, so it couldn't.
They're just mad because somebody played their tones. It's the same thing it's the same thing that government bureaucracies will do if you use their logo. So they basically copyright their logo, as I understand it. And if you were to, let's say, take the City of Keene logo and issue a City of Keene press release, that said whatever, we're going to tear up your street today or something like that, then the City of Keene could bring you to court for that. And they'd probably win.
Right. It's craziness.
I just like the idea of harassing the system.
So do we.
That emergency tone when the ruling parties open their mouth.
Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it, man.
Throw it at them.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, Rex.
Yeah, it would be interesting to play that if news cameras were rolling and see what happens to them when.
That's mean. That's a mean thing to do.
Yeah.
We're going to stay with the phone lines, and we've got Starchild calling from San Francisco. Starchild, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you guys. How's it going?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Thank you. It's good.
Well, I was just listening to another show, Freedom Phoenix, that you guys are probably familiar with, Declare Independence.
Yeah, with Ernie Hancock.
A few days ago. Yeah, Ernie's a good friend. And he had Vincent Printerwitz, a longtime libertarian columnist, and Davi Barker, a libertarian activist, on talking about immigration. And I got a little frustrated because Davi, who was arguing basically the libertarian position on it, was very diplomatic and polite, but he wasn't really making the case for open borders that I think needs to be made. And there's some arguments that I'd like to make that I don't think usually get made so much.
Yeah, let's hear them.
You know, one of them is that the Constitution does not give the federal government any authority to regulate immigration.
That's true.
Only naturalization.
And what's the difference? Can you explain that for our listeners?
Sure. Yeah. Immigration is the someone coming into the country, into one of the states
physically
from somewhere
moving
else.
from.
Physically moving, right? Naturalization is just a paperwork process of becoming a U.S. citizen.
Correct. That's
And
the Ellis Island.
Citizenship is in the Constitution, but I don't support it. I think ultimately citizenship is just another big government program.
Well, it's a sham. I mean, it's not even a program because I don't know if Jay touched on this last night as well, but I'm definitely going to jump in here because citizenship doesn't really exist. If you look at the definition of citizen, it's somebody who owes. Everything okay there?
Yeah,
got a lot of noise on the line.
Some background.
Sorry, I'm outdoors. It's a little windy.
Oh, it's okay.
You can put them on hold if it gets bad, but it's okay right now. Anyway, the idea is a citizen is somebody who owes a duty of allegiance in return for an obligation of protection. You can look it up in any, not just legal dictionary, but in dictionary.com or whatever dictionary you want to. It's pretty standard definition. So because
I agree with you.
Sure, I just want to finish
the government has the U.S. government, does have programs around, issuing documents recognizing people as citizens, revoking citizenship, all this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a sham, though, because they don't have an obligation to protect you. And if you want to put them on hold, we can continue here with his points on open borders, because I want to hear the different arguments about that.
There are a lot of arguments on both sides of this. The more vocal side seems to be the closed borders. We've got to keep them out or send them back where they came from. What do you think about our immigration system? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's how you can get on the air, like the callers we have in queue already. We've got Starchild in San Francisco. He wanted to talk about immigration, and we're going to continue that in just a moment. But first, I wanted to tell you about the Edge wallet. It's a cryptocurrency wallet. What do you hold digital cash in? You hold paper cash in a regular wallet. You hold digital cash in a digital wallet. The Edge wallet is available for iOS and Android devices, so whether you have an iPhone or a Samsung, it doesn't matter. You can use it to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies. It's user-controlled. You own your money when it is in the Edge wallet. That's important to note. Support for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, many, many more. It's built by a veteran team. They've been building apps since 2014. Their tagline is securing your freedom, and that's what cryptocurrency does. Allows you to take control of your money. Don't trust, verify. You can find out more at edge.app. That's edge.app. Talk somebody through installing the Edge wallet again today. It's almost a daily occurrence. Somebody comes into Bitcoin Embassy, New Hampshire, or into Route 101 Local Goods. They've never used cryptocurrency, and they need to understand how to get started. The first thing you need is a wallet. But after that, Edge just makes it nice and simple. I like it.
Me too.
We've been...
just used it tonight.
Yeah. We're going to go back to Starchild. We're having a conversation about immigration and citizenship, and what does citizenship actually mean. Starchild, you still with us?
I am.
Excellent.
And I actually misspoke. I don't actually want to talk about immigration. I want to talk about freedom of movement.
Okay.
And the reason I use that term is because people, at least in this country, when they talk about it, they tend to talk about it from the perspective of people living in the United States. And that is part of the problem. They talk about it through a nationalist framework, and it leads them to anti-libertarian conclusions because they're not looking at it from the perspective of people trying to move somewhere, and they're not looking at it from a neutral perspective. They're looking at it like, well, what are going to be the effects on people who are already in this country?
Yeah, so to me, I understand the libertarian position. I understand the statist position on quote-unquote immigration, people coming to this country. Borders
it's not
are
ultimately just... so go ahead.
That's all right. Borders are a function of a state. You know, that is one of the defining characteristics, and I will argue that we shouldn't have a state all day long. But a border is part of that. It is a defined piece of property.
Because they have territory, because they're a criminal gang.
Right. And they're going to say that, hey, if you're going to come on our turf, we want you to come here by invitation so we can tax you.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're going to have a state, then there's going to be a place some imaginary line where it begins and ends.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you have to shoot people who cross that imaginary line or throw them in prison. You can have the line. I mean,
that's right.
When
and
were
most
the first
of the countries,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say most of the United States is full of borders. I mean, I live in San Francisco. There's a border between San Francisco and Daly City. It never causes any problems. You can cross it without even realizing it. Mm-hmm. You're no more likely to get detained or questioned or held up there by government agents than anywhere else. And most of the borders in the country are like that, and they work fine. The only place where the borders are causing problems are, at the edges of the country where government suddenly decides, they're going to assume a whole bunch more powers to stop and detain people without any individual probable cause of that person having committed any crime.
Or if
Simply
they're
moving
within
around
100
on public
miles
land
of
should
one
not
of
be a
those
crime.
borders.
Right. They claim these zones where the Constitution is suspended within 100 miles of any external border of the United States. But really, people shouldn't think of this issue just in terms of the United States, because like I said, that's part of what leads them astray. It's an issue of freedom of movement all over the world. And really, from the libertarian perspective, it's not people outside of any given jurisdiction that are the main threat. It's not the main threat to people living in the United States is not the Russian regime or the Chinese regime or the North Korean regime or anybody else. It's the U.S. government.
Right.
And that's true for most people living in most countries. Is the main threat to their freedom and prosperity and well-being is the government or regime that claims direct jurisdiction over them.
Bravo.
So the people of the world need to practice more solidarity with each other and stop seeing each other as the enemy and buying into this nationalism that governments use to divide and control people, and recognize we all have a common cause, no matter where we live in the world, in asserting our freedom and standing up together against the governments of the world that want to restrict that freedom and control and extort money from us.
Starchild, thanks for the
call.
So
well said. Thank you for that.
I hate all governments, but the U.S. government's the only only one that's directly torqued my nuts.
Right. Now, I suppose we can say that because you're referring to a nut that goes on the end of a screw.
Yeah. They over-tightened my lug nuts.
But that's the thing. What I wish more people would look at, I wish more people would understand, are the economics of immigration. This is a net win for us as a country. There are whole industries, and particularly the farming industry, that absolutely could not exist in their current form without finding people willing to pick lettuce
in the hot sun all day long.
And you can look at the service industry. I'll pull up some statistics on that. We're going to go to Larry in Indianapolis. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, I think we should abolish all borders.
Yes.
And especially the one between Haiti and African countries so that they could come here, the colored people of the world could come here. You would get a lot different opinions from even your guests that called in if they would allow the Haitians to come in and all the Somalians that are in refugee camps. Just send a big jet
That'd be great.
over there.
I've actually heard that there's a lot
of
of Somalians living in Manchester and also in
they
Portland.
need to fly more of them, man. We need to get as many of those people as we can find.
Although I will add this to what you said, Larry. I think that
just do everything.
It's definitely true that borders that are national need to be opened. But I do think that a private property owner, I think that a private property owner can have borders on their property if they want.
I don't think that private property should not exist within the United States. I mean, I think that everybody should be privy to your property or anything they want.
So
on
I
your
should
property.
just be able to.
Well, that's kind of how it works when there's immigration laws, because as soon as you pass an immigration law, the government starts telling me who can be on my property. And so that is kind of an abolishment of private property.
You said abolish all owners?
Property.
No, so wait, are you saying that I should just be able to walk into your bedroom any old time I want to?
That's right. That's right.
That's a little
Anytime
weird.
you want
I don't
to
think
come
most
in,
people are going to
come in and do anything you want to do.
I
on
don't
my
think
property.
most people.
That's not what I call about. That's not what I call about.
Yeah, but you
Here's what
opened
I
up a
call
pretty
about.
big can of worms there, Larry.
Okay, I'll just
you know,
cut
you
it
want
down
to
now,
call in on a libertarian talk show and talk about abolishing property. You're going to have some
They
opposition.
need to abolish everything.
I don't believe
But
you.
Here's what I'm.
I don't
No, but
believe you
here's-
that you're going to let anybody just walk into your room any old time they feel like it, and that you're going to welcome
Well, the
them to
homeless
do
people need a place to stay and need a place to eat. They need to abolish all private property whatsoever. But anyway, I didn't call about
See, I'm
that.
more of a lot guy. I love the idea of private property. It's
don't
just
like
that
it.
the
I
property
hate it.
that isn't being used, I think, should be available for homesteading.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Good. Like all of Montana and Wyoming.
Sure.
All those
A lot
places.
of it.
We should let everybody from around the world who wants to come here and set up stakes and give them $5,000 a month for 10
Well,
years.
see, now that's where
until
you're
they
going
get
to.
See, I'm not down with the welfare thing.
Now you got to take my private property to pay them.
See, I was with you right up
Well,
until
how
the
do you
point
think
where
we're
you
gonna
said,
do it?
"Hold
Yeah.
on." I was with you right up until the point where you said pay them $5,000 a month. If I agree with nobody that they should be able to settle and they should be able to homestead, and that all that federal land ought to be turned over to whoever wants to sit on it and take
To
care
the
of it.
immigrants that come here, they deserve it. Hey, look, I didn't call.
Well, I
about
mean, I
that.
don't
Here's
think
what I call-
homesteading should be limited to immigrants. I think
Anybody.
people who are born here have certainly an equal right to homestead.
No, they don't have any rights whatsoever.
You might
Except
want to
get
read
SSI.
John Locke's Second Treatise of Government, Chapter 5. He does a good overview of property rights and land and why they're vital to progress.
All it belongs to government. Here's what I call about really.
Oh, now you're going to get to what you called about. Well, hold on.
Larry,
Okay.
I'm going to have to hold you over.
I'll wait around.
Hold on, we'll take you after the news.
I only do that because I find it kind of compelling. He really called about devil worship. And,
I really want to hear that.
Yeah. 855 450 free. If you want to hear about devil
I love
worship,
this guy.
stick around. This is Free Talk Live.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. Go Dark Bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkBags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkBags.com/FTL.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,498. Silver at $17.05, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,180. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a rather shocking study published this month by the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences names police officers as the sixth leading cause of death among young men. Activist Post reports that police killings were only preceded in frequency by accidental death, a category that includes drug overdoses and car accidents, at 76.6 deaths per 100,000, followed by suicide, other homicides, heart disease, and cancer. The killings by police include shooting, choking, beating, and various other ways that police have taken the lives of Americans. Even more damning than finding out that police are a leading cause of death for young men is the fact that the lead researcher of the study and an assistant professor at the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Frank Edwards, says the numbers may be an undercount. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest have been on fire for several weeks, and Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "the fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Astrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, "We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away," end quote. With his company stock in freefall, Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne resigned as CEO Thursday, effective immediately, after he stunned investors by disclosing his entanglements with the deep state. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 56-year-old Byrne, who founded the company in 1999 and took it public 3 years later, will be succeeded by director Jonathan Johnson, who was with the company for 17 years and has recently served as president of Overstock's blockchain business. Byrne's resignation comes after conspiratorial comments from August 12th, where he confessed his role in the deep state. Byrne released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new trend in offices across the country, more and more people are switching to fetal position desks so that they can curl up in a ball on the floor while they work. Aaron Vaughn has a story.
The human body isn't meant to sit at a desk for 6 or 7 hours. The natural position, especially in the workplace, is to shut down completely, return to a womb-like state, and rock back and forth to soothe yourself.
Fetal position desks, which are even popping up in offices like Google and Facebook, come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some have adjustable height so you can cower underneath them, while more expensive options include a warm, pulsating blanket for workers to wrap themselves in to feel calm. But many people are making their own.
I've rigged this up so I can type comfortably and my arms won't get tired. Plus, it's got speakers so I can listen to a comforting voice saying shh over and over again.
I've tried a fetal position desk myself, and I can say it's a great way to get through the f***ing day.
Thanks, Aaron. I hate my job.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 2. We do 3 hours of live radio every day, and we are very happy that you could join us. The us in studio tonight is myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And nobody.
And if you would like to take part in the show, you can call us at 855-450-FREE. That's free as in Free Talk Live, free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. You can get on the air. You can also use our Discord call-in rooms. You can download the Discord app through your app store or go to discord.com. Man, I always forget what the URL is. But anyway, find Discord, load the app on your laptop, on your computer, on your phone. It's on all platforms. Load it up, use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone. You'll sound like you are right here in the studio with us. But first, I do want to tell you about My Magic Mud. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder. That is not what you use. It's not powder for your black tooth. It is literally black. It is made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. The cool thing is this stuff is clinically proven to whiten your teeth. It is available at most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart in the natural beauty aisle. A number of hosts here on the show are using this stuff, and they swear by it. Receive 20% off with code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. That's 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. We've been talking to Larry. Larry had some thoughts on immigration property rights, but that missed what he really called in about, and he wanted to call in about devil worshippers.
Hey, I'm laughing right with you, right, boys?
So tell me what's going on.
Everybody in that studio has an iPhone or a smartphone, right?
Yeah, I got a smartphone. Why?
Okay, I'm bringing on down to the point now. Would you worship the devil to keep your iPhone or smartphone?
God, no.
You would worship the devil.
What?
And then interchange the devil with government. I have seen so many people. I was at an AT&T store the other day. You know, I've tried the iPhone, but I can't get along with it, so I end up sacrificing it. But
to the
you
devil?
just take a look at people and how they love these instruments and how they've taken them to heart.
Right.
I was in an AT&T store, right? The doors closed at 5 o'clock. People were there crying like a baby to get in there and get their iPhone turned back on. If you
I can't go all night without you.
Without it.
You laugh, but you know it's true.
I don't doubt it.
Them,
I believe you.
We will get your phone turned back on and clean your account up if you come and worship the devil. The only thing they will want to know is what mode they would have to go into and what dance they would have to do to worship the devil to keep their iPhone. They would not think of the future implications of that, but they will go ahead and do it. The average person in the millenniums, there's a shoe-in with them because I got a truck, right? And there's a glass rack on it. On the back of that rack, it says, would you worship the devil to keep your iPhone? I'm getting so many thumbs up out of that, even out of the old people. The devil have won already.
Do you think the devil actually exists?
If he exists, you guys say the government is the devil. If the government tell you bow down on your knees and worship us and let us do anything you want to do to us to keep your iPhone, you're going to sign the contract.
I don't even have an iPhone, bro. And
well, whatever you got.
He's talking about smartphones in general. It sounds like you're likening the addiction that people have to their smartphone or smart device to a worship for the devil. Is that what you're saying?
That's where I'm going right there. Like the mark of the beast. You certainly take the mark of the beast, right?
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
He's trying to gauge our belief.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm mover number 666 for the Free State Project. So, yeah, I could get a 666 tattoo.
Sure, you do it on your forehead. But the thing about it is,
not a good spot.
People act like they want their privacy so much, and they don't want big government. The government can at any time cut your iPhone off and come to you secretly and say, sign this, and you'll do it to get your iPhone turned back on. Everybody's out there
I don't know
strung
about
out.
that.
Well, not I, but a lot of people would.
Yeah, that's probably
You're
right.
90%, 95%.
Yeah, probably 95%.
But
90%.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that we have allowed this to happen to us, and we are buying into it voluntarily. And sometimes people are watching porn. They get all kind of contractual agreements flashed in their porn session that they okay to keep the porn moving. So they have figured us out, whoever's running the internet, and they know that they have pictures of us watching porn, doing whatever we do.
Yeah, they keep emailing me about that. I don't know about you.
I'm not trying to know, but we know it's true. So I think the game is over, really, right now.
By the way, whenever they email you about that, it's generally not true. It's just an email designed to fish for information about it.
I get those emails, and I don't even have a camera on my computer.
Hey, thanks for the call, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
I can appreciate where he's coming from.
Yeah, it is. And there has been a bit of a deification of technology. I would say that's happened over the last few decades. But with smartphones, it has become that. And you can find videos on the internet of people, breaking down, going into hysterics because they've lost access or they can't get on Instagram or something like that. And I don't know. I think it's one of those things that just should be a wake-up call for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a convenience to me.
There's a lot of people out there with really screwy value structures, but I have, it doesn't bother me a bit if my phone's off for a couple of days. Sometimes I'll turn it off for a couple of days.
Yeah. And
I think what he was saying is that would make you unusual compared to many of the population who would be freaking out if they didn't have their phone on or right next to them or...
Right. Now, I use my phone for business, too, so it's more than just a toy. But I have left the shop and got, 5-10 minutes away, realized I don't have my phone, and I've turned around and gone back to work to get my phone. And I won't say that, I couldn't have waited another half hour after hours because of business. Sometimes it is. It just becomes a bit of a security blanket, You don't feel right if you don't have it with you. And I think that's kind of dangerous. But I think a lot of people they don't even think about that as unusual. The newer generations, they're just assuming that that's the way it was. Keep in mind, I mean, when we were children, I think all three of us, there were no mobile phones.
In the 80s, I was a kid, and so there would have been very, very large mobile phones back then for very wealthy people.
I was born in 68, so there were mobile phones
but nobody
sorts.
But who could
they
afford
were
them?
like they were military in those days.
Well, and there were commercial.
And of course, there were, Maxwell Smart's shoe phone.
Exactly. Can't forget that one. I remember crying because Maxwell Smart was it was canceled that night because Nixon was speaking. Not to date myself,
bummer.
but man, I threw a fit. But we had mobile phones, and mobile phones.
Kids, the show's called Get Smart, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that the name of it?
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Don Adams, brilliant show. I loved it.
The same guy who was Inspector Gadget, if I recall correctly, who a lot of kids in the 80s and 90s will remember that show. It was sort of a cartoon version almost.
Was he in that? Or did voices for it? I'm not sure.
I don't know if he was actually in it, but I think that a lot of the characterization in Inspector Gadget was parody of
myself.
Was parody of Get Smart.
The first cell phones.
But I don't know if it was the same actor. I'm curious.
Yeah,
Don Adams played Maxwell
I'll find
Smart.
out for you.
Tell us your earliest cell phone memories. It's a walk down memory lane. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's the number you call if you want to get on the air and bring up what you want. This show, it's all over the place every single night because callers get to set the topic, and that's unusual.
Open borders and Don Adams. I mean, we've been all over the place here.
and cell phones and devil worship. It was it's just been and always if you get a call from Larry in Indianapolis, you know it's going to be an interesting call.
I agree.
Almost always. I want to thank a couple people. I want to thank Doug and Ron Pepper. Who are Doug and Ron Pepper?
I don't think you mean like Doug and Ron are brothers. Doug's a separate, I don't think they're related. Right?
I know. That's why I tried to insert a pause, but evidently it was ineffective, my pause. Doug, and Ron Pepper. They're both amplifiers of Free Talk Live. What's an amplifier? An amplifier is a member of our amplifier program. Those are people that have pledged to give $5 or up to Free Talk Live on a monthly basis, and we recognize their contributions. We thank you. Ron Pepper, he's a gold amplifier. That means he has pledged to give $10 a month.
Thanks, Ron.
And Doug is a platinum amplifier.
Wow. Thank you, Doug.
So he is pledged to give $15 or more per month.
Killer.
And that's
25 actually or more.
Oh, 25. I'm sorry. But that's really appreciated. What we use that money for is to go out and find more radio stations to be on. We want to spread the message of liberty, and that's the best way to do it. You can find out more at amp.freetalklive.com. And I got some good news for you guys. Now, I think I'm going to trigger a mass emigration from the United States for millions of Americans, at least those who were alive in the 70s and 80s. A Mexican court has ruled to allow recreational cocaine use.
All right.
Hey.
And I got to say, this comes to us from digitaljournal.com. This is a completely misleading headline.
Really?
Unfortunately, a Mexican judge has granted two people's request to be allowed to use cocaine recreationally. The organization behind the case said Tuesday, calling it, quote, a historic step, unquote, though it must first be reviewed by a higher court. So again, shame on
the
you.
two people are the people who are involved in the case. If it is reviewed by the higher court and upheld, then presumably that would apply to more than two people, would it not?
I mean, what's the nature of the case? What was alleged? Was it civil? Was it criminal? What happened?
We'll get into it. The rulings, the first of their kind in Mexico, would allow the two petitioners to possess, transport, and use cocaine, but not to sell it, according to Mexican United Against Crime, an organization devoted to ending the Latin American countries' quote, war on drugs, unquote. The Mexican City Court ordered the National Health Regulator, COFEPRIS, COFEPRIS, to authorize the petitioner's cocaine use in personal recreational doses, the organization said. However, a COFEPRIS official told AFP the regulator has moved to block the court order, which was delivered in May, arguing that issuing such authorization would be outside of its legal remit. The case must now be reviewed by a panel of judges. The ruling will only take effect if they side with the original decision and would only apply to the two people who brought the case, whose names were not disclosed.
I guess the Mexican court system works a little differently than the U.S. system. You know, normally that something like this in the U.S. would set some level of precedent.
Well, I mean, I don't know what situation gives these this particular pair of people
I don't know
this privilege. So you'd have to know that to know how widespread it was, or whether or not it could be. What was the cause of action? What was the case brought for?
Rich, to find that out, you would probably need to speak Spanish and do a lot more digging than digitaljournal.com did when they came up with this headline that said Mexican court rules to allow recreational cocaine use. Well, technically accurate, it doesn't really, it does not do what you think it does. That's
too bad.
It is, but at least it is a court case making its way through Mexico, and I think any moderation of drug laws in Mexico would begin a process of hopefully taking some of the money, some of the profits away from the cartels, the ones doing all the violence against Mexican citizens. And by extension, a lot of violence in the United States through drug trafficking, too. I'd love to see those guys go out of business.
It's the only way that they can take the wind out of the sails of the gangs. Yeah. And how they fail to see that, or I don't know, do they fail to see that?
Or not care?
Or are they just lying to us about their intentions? I guess mostly the latter.
I believe I believe they're lying to themselves, and maybe they believe their lies now, but millions of Americans believes this lie too, that if something is illegal, people will stop doing it. If we make the punishments at a certain level, then they won't even mind if we infringe on their rights. They'll be okay with that because we're doing God's work by stopping demon drugs from entering the United States. No, you're not. You can't even keep them out of your own prisons.
Nope.
It's true.
It's insane. And the real human cost when you look at the war on drugs is a lot more than what you see that budget line is. It's people who die at the hands of cartels fighting. The bulk of if you want to talk
people
about
who die at the hands of police as well, because they're protecting the biggest cartel out there, which is Big Pharma. Okay, and the enforcers for Big Pharma, the people who enforce their monopoly, is the DEA, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the entire government. They're the thugs. They're the enforcers for the Big Pharma cartel.
And you will, many of you will fall on the side of being, we've got to stop this. We've got to stop the flow of drugs, and this is not how you do it. If you want to stop drugs from flowing, let the marketplace dry up on its own. I've been reading up more about Switzerland's program on heroin. The Swiss government that decided the only role they have in the war on drugs when it comes to opiates is they need to provide it for addicts. And if there are addicts in Switzerland, they are getting their heroin, they're getting it from the government. They can just go right down and they'll have a safe place. They will get a measured amount of something that they know what it is, unlike in the United States where we demonize these people and spend billions of dollars trying to fight a war that cannot be won. 855-450-FREE. What do you think about a Mexican court saying, you two people, you can snort coke? Congratulations. This is Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Free Talk Live.
Why would they go around bombing people around the world? Doesn't that make us less safe?
Oh, you know what? I guess some of these people got it coming. It's a good day to be dead if you're a terrorist search.
How many of the people that the U.S. military has killed in the last decade have been terrorists?
A whole bunch of them. You know what?
percentage?
You sound like some liberal church.
What percentage?
A lot of people.
I'm not a liberal, sir. Liberals support war, from what I can tell.
Take a look. Obama looks
support war when we need it. We have justifiable war. You know, there's people like you. You triumph when good men do nothing, you jerk.
Wait a second, Charlie.
I'm not bombing anyone.
You can feel however you feel about me, but Smedley Butler, the two-time Medal of Honor winning Marine, felt the same way.
Well, you know what? Because they're headed the right way. You know what? We should have went after China. We should have chased those tricoms across that river, and we should have bombed them. We should have nuked them. We should have...
You are horrible.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's free as in freedom, 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's a number you can call in and get on the radio and talk about the topic you like on a radio program that allows you, the caller, to be in control. But first, I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com that allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or just meet in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com.
Yeah, I just this week finished going through the higher tiers of verification for their for the other site, the one that local.bitcoin.com is competing with.
Right.
The one that's been around forever.
That shall
where
be
you can
unnamed.
buy BTC.
Right.
And they wanted a photo, that not just a photo of me or my identification, but they wanted me to actually record a video where I turned my head to the left and then I spoke 3 numbers into the video. and they also wanted a screenshot of my Bitcoin wallet not on their site because they have, again, it's a custodial site, so there's a wallet on that other site. They wanted to see my own Bitcoin wallet from off of the site as well, and they're still actually reviewing the submission that I sent to them.
That's insane.
Been 3 days now. 2-3 days.
And that's because that other site is in a country that has very strict know your customer laws.
And they're a custodial site. They're holding on to customer funds.
Right. So they're going to be subject to a little bit more regulation. They've, unfortunately, wherever they're at, they've got it in spades.
Whereas local.bitcoin.com does not hold customer funds. They never touch the customer money until they get a cut of their fee at the end as part of their payment for providing this sort of platform.
Yeah, it's a much better way to do business.
It's smart.
And maybe we'll see this in other cryptos too, but local.bitcoin.com has definitely led the way in this.
Hey, before you go on, I do want to say, because I said I was going to look it up,
yes.
Nobody, you had me kind of questioning what my trivia that I had stored up there somewhere in my mind. Inspector Gadget, according to Wikipedia, Don Adams was the voice of Inspector Gadget in the original series, which aired from 1983 through 1986, so about a 3-4 year run. He was that voice. Now, there's apparently been a newer series in the aughts. He died in 2005, so obviously he's not currently the voice of Inspector Gadget, but the original one, the ones that the kids in the 80s grew up with, he was.
Wow. Well, that would be somebody other than me. No, my son, I watched him. He liked Inspector Gadget, and he was into it. And we're going to go to the phones where we've got Kirby in Indianapolis. Kirby, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Kirby.
Good evening.
I was actually just calling to see if you guys were familiar with a gentleman who goes by the handle of Beau of the Fifth Column.
I am. I've watched a few of his videos. He's pretty good. I agree with him on pretty much every video I've watched. Beau of the Fifth Column. I'm not sure if he's on YouTube. He is. Okay, good. His stuff's all over my Facebook feed. People buy and share his stuff. I guess he's a journalist, and he basically is doing at least a daily sort of video blog on a different topic every day. But
looks like he's got 159,000 or 158,000 subscribers on YouTube. Kirby, why do you ask about this guy?
Actually, I've been meaning to ask you guys about him, but just because he is so enlightened, and actually last night he did a video on Ross Ulbricht.
Really?
And he's the only person outside of your show where I've ever heard his name mentioned.
Interesting. Yeah, I see it. The video here is called "Let's Talk About Thank a Criminal Day."
Thank you, criminal.
Right, hashtag free Ross, and he's got a free Ross hat that he's wearing in the video. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank a Criminal Day. That sounds like something TJ would do.
Yeah. Hey, but I also wanted to turn you guys on to a video I found Sunday. I know I can't say this last word on the radio, but it is called Gang Feces. We'll go there.
Okay.
Okay.
It is made by a young fella out of Hell's Kitchen in New York, and it sums up America, especially the America we live in right now, in 4 minutes. And I would suggest you watch it and let me know what you think, because this young fella just told the truth about everything in this country.
Hey,
you all right?
You okay?
Yeah. I'm actually at work. I work in a truck yard, so I was letting somebody in.
We'll let you get back to it.
We'll let you get back to it.
Thanks.
But, this guy sums up everything in
and it's
4 minutes.
It's called Gang and then the S word, and it's another YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and his name is Marlon Craft.
All right. Hey, thanks for the recommendations.
We'll find
it. Yeah, and I'm going to call you back in a couple days to see what you thought about it, because it's powerful.
All right.
Powerful.
We always have different hosts on, but if you call back next Thursday night, you'll probably get the same gang.
There you go.
But thanks for
Kirby.
the call, Kirby. I appreciate it.
You like this Beau guy? I mean, the fifth column, if he's in favor of free Ross, I mean, obviously that's a good thing.
I haven't watched it, and I don't sit there and spend so much time that I can watch anything on a daily basis.
Right.
Every time when I popped up one of Beau's videos, it's been pretty straightforward and pretty much nailed the salient points as I would.
I mean, if he's in favor of free Ross, there's a good chance he's a libertarian, right?
I think he is. I think he is absolutely a libertarian, or definitely a liberty-minded guy. But again, I haven't watched everything he's done. But he's pretty entertaining and comes across pretty well, and he's a Southern guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people will. I hate to say this. A lot of people will stereotype anybody with the name of Beau who's got a Southern accent and always wears a baseball hat. And, but he's a sharp guy. I really thought. We were talking about this story out of Mexico where a court ruled in favor of two people who had petitioned their government to be able to recreationally use cocaine, and the court ruled in favor of them. I just wanted to talk
about it. But it needs to be reviewed by another court.
Yeah, and it's go for a little bit more, but I do want to read some stuff from the people who brought the case or are supporting these people. Quote, "This case represents another step in the fight to construct alternative drug policies that allow Mexico to redirect its security efforts and better address public health," unquote. Mexico United Against Crime said in a statement, quote, "We have spent years working for a more secure, just, and peaceful Mexico. This case is about insisting on the need to stop criminalizing drug users
Bravo.
and designing better public policies that explore all the available options." The group's director, Lisa Sanchez, said Mexico has been moving slowly away from its strict prohibitionist drug policies in recent years. The Supreme Court has authorized recreational marijuana use in individual cases, including one brought by the Hollywood actor Diego Luna. The leftist president Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador,
it's a mouthful,
has repeatedly said that the country should evaluate decriminalizing drugs. His party,
That's unusual for a sitting president to actually take that position, because his predecessor, you remember Vicente Fox?
Right.
He didn't come out against the war on drugs until after he was out of office.
Of course.
Maybe the current guy isn't making a lot of money off the war on drugs. That would be a refreshing change for Mexico.
That'll do it. This is Free Talk Live.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Tehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau de Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100. shopsupertea.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's the number to call if you want to get on the radio. If you want to control this show, you bring up the topic and we'll talk about it. But first, I do want to tell you about a way that you can bring a little bit more money into your small business. How do you do that? Accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash. Offer people the choice to not use the old antiquated money, the old systems like credit cards. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for solutions for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just visit HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and more at your store. Get started now with HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. That's HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. Another product, I can't say enough good things about it. It just works. We had a caller, and in studio, it's myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And I'm nobody.
We had a caller who brought up Beau of the Fifth Column. Fifth Column is a reference to the press, I believe. No. Well, maybe it is. I'm going to have to dig into that. I did look it up.
I thought the fourth column was the press.
Fourth column is the press. The fifth column.
I think that's the Fourth Estate.
Fourth Estate. Okay.
Yeah, the fifth column is generally refers to the clandestine part of an invasion.
Yep, according to Wikipedia,
Good answer,
any group of
Rich.
people who undermine a larger group from within.
If you would like to sponsor nobody to go on Jeopardy, call 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Have you ever thought about going on Jeopardy? You seem to be a font of sometimes useful information and sometimes trivia.
Well, I've been thinking more about how to get into the debates.
That's a good point.
The federal presidential debates?
Any debate.
Oh, okay.
Anything.
Yeah.
Even just on a street corner. Debate, you can always debate yourself. You could debate any issue from both sides, I think.
could. I'm
Probably.
a master debater.
You are. That's what I've heard. We were talking to a gentleman called in, and he was talking about Beau of the Fifth Column. He's a YouTuber. And
I was just watching a little bit of his recent Free Ross video here. Only got a couple minutes in there during the break, but I liked what I was hearing. He was talking about the Thank a Criminal Day, which is apparently today, August 22nd, and making the point, and very strong point, that the reason why we have the freedoms we have is because people were willing to break laws.
Yep. Yeah, we sit here and, George Washington, the father of our country, the most honest man, he could not tell a lie. He was wanted by the government. The government was actively trying to kill him. I just read a book that was about the attempts on Washington's life before the actual invasion of the United States by the British, but there was a very hard effort to kill him before any of this happened. And that's,
of course, Washington was also author of his own press releases, like all victors. But
well, true. But it's interesting that you don't think of, Washington was accused of felonies. Thomas Jefferson was charged with high treason. That's what these guys did. But are they
Samuel
heroes too?
Adams was a smuggler to begin with.
Right.
He was actually a terrible brewer.
I would argue that he still is. Oh, I'm too close to Boston to bash Sam Adams beer. He has nothing to do with it. Unless he's still around. I'm not sure about that.
He has to be a vampire in that case.
He may be. Judging. I'm not going to even go into the beer. But the point that
you really don't like Sam Adams, huh?
I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry. But the point is a lot of these people that you do worship.
I don't worship these people.
I don't either. I will say show respect for or appreciate the efforts.
Sure.
Of
appreciate them. Sure.
Their point in history and what they affected change by being a criminal. And maybe
you got to push the boundaries, right?
Right. That should give us pause when we are quick to come down on somebody like Ross Ulbricht. Oh my God, he ran the Silk Road,
a website.
He
wrote it.
When the law is unjust, the just man becomes a criminal.
Yes, and that's very true. So all I would say is sometimes we got to pause. You can jump to the conclusion that the politicians are feeding you, but realize that the politicians may have a different point of view and a different set of goals than you would. And think for yourself. That's the best thing I can say.
Do you? I know we were talking about Mexico. Were you finished there? Should we get into Utah and the latest on their medical situation? Cannabis.
We covered in Mexico. 2 people were found by a court they made the case that they should be allowed to legally use cocaine recreationally. Now, this was only a suit involving these 2 people. It'll go to a higher court who will determine whether that ruling will stand. That may set some sort of precedence down there, but there has been at least there's certainly efforts within the country of Mexico to work on decriminalization and try to end some of the violence that has plagued that country. So Utah, we don't hear a lot of drug stories that come out of Utah.
No, but I know that they were looking at a medical program for cannabis recently. I think it was the recent election where there was a ballot, so 2018 ballot measure in Utah about that. I don't recall exactly. I think it did pass. Because they are moving ahead with state-run medical cannabis. According to Fox 13 out of Salt Lake City at fox13now.com, lawmakers are, however, abandoning their plans for a state-run medical cannabis dispensary network, which is actually really good news because you don't want the government running the weed distribution channels. You don't want them growing. You don't want them selling. They're going to screw it up.
Yeah, I mean, these are the idiots who didn't understand weed in the first place.
Right.
You know, they've been at war with us. Now we're going to put them in charge?
Well, unfortunately,
that's crazy
they'll
talk.
still be in charge. It's just they won't be the ones who are handling the plants, which is still not the best situation. The best situation is for them to step away and have no regulations whatsoever, no taxes, no regulations, but to at least get it out of their hands.
Regulate weed like onions.
And that is to say, don't regulate it.
Right.
But at the very least, this move in Utah gets the government's hands directly off of the product. Because that way, at the very least, they're not going to screw up the growing process. They're not going to botch an entire, season's worth of weed with some terrible bureaucratic error or rigmarole or whatever. And at the very least, you'll have private companies involved. I can get into more, but
yeah, I'm interested. I just have a lot of questions.
Sure.
I mean, so this involves the distribution of marijuana, of medical marijuana, and
correct. Yeah. So instead of having the government running the distribution network,
right. Okay,
that it will be then handed to private dispensaries. And so they were going to have some private dispensaries, but they were also going to have government dispensaries. And so now they're going to increase the number of private dispensaries from 7 to 12 that will be scattered across the state, rather than having 7 and then another 5 run by the government, apparently.
Gotcha. I wonder who's providing the marijuana to the dispensaries. I'm sure they have some.
Usually they have growers,
approved growers,
right,
that
licensed growers
who had to fill out all sorts of forms and pay all sorts of fees.
But one of the things that we saw happen in Canada, and it's been a while since I've checked in on what's going on with the Canadian legalization story, which I think that started almost a year ago. I think it was like October, November of 2018. But what we saw happen there were some Canadian provinces that were handling distribution through government distribution.
Right.
And then some were allowing private companies to handle distribution. And what do you know? The government distribution locations didn't order enough cannabis to supply the demand. They got their system for online ordering was backed up and broken, and it was just an absolute nightmare for the people who were trying to legally buy cannabis in those areas because the government was in charge completely.
Milton Friedman said if you put the government in charge of the Sahara Desert in 5 years, they'd have a shortage of sand.
And that's what's gonna happen. It's happened in the United States too. Oregon has suffered from either complete gluts of marijuana because too many growers, or
gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556, ICAGoldSilver.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. Go Dark Bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkBags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkBags.com/FTL.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,498, silver at $17.05, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,180. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a rather shocking study published this month by the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences names police officers as the 6th leading cause of death among young men. Activist Post reports that police killings were only preceded in frequency by accidental death, a category that includes drug overdoses and car accidents, at 76.6 deaths per 100,000, followed by suicide, other homicides, heart disease, and cancer. The killings by police include shooting, choking, beating, and various other ways that police have taken the lives of Americans. Even more damning than finding out that police are a leading cause of death for young men is the fact that the lead researcher of the study and an assistant professor at the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Frank Edwards, says the numbers may be an undercount. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest have been on fire for several weeks, and Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "The fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Astrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, "We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away," end quote. With his company stock in freefall, Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne resigned as CEO Thursday, effective immediately, after he stunned investors by disclosing his entanglements with the deep state. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 56-year-old Byrne, who founded the company in 1999 and took it public 3 years later, will be succeeded by director Jonathan Johnson, who was with the company for 17 years and has recently served as president of Overstock's blockchain business. Byrne's resignation comes after conspiratorial comments from August 12th, where he confessed his role in the deep state. Byrne released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to a groundbreaking study on anxiety disorders published this week in the New England Journal of Medicine, researchers have discovered that feelings of anxiety can be completely resolved as long as people think about them real hard.
After studying subjects with mild to chronic anxiety disorders, we found that the best way to overcome mental stress is to isolate the root of the anxiety, analyze it from every possible angle, and then think about it nonstop until it completely disappears.
Researchers worked with numerous subjects in the middle of high-stress scenarios and said the key to overcoming anxiety is to start by focusing on a minor problem, list everything that can go wrong in the worst-case scenario, and then repeat that list in your head 200 times. After anywhere between 3 to 6 hours of perpetually torturing yourself over things outside of your control, all feelings of anxiety will completely disappear, and you can finally enjoy the remainder of your day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 3. 3 hours. We do this every night. We open up our phone lines so you can call in and talk about what you like. You don't have to talk about what we like. Call in with what's on your mind, and we'll give you a fair shake. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. In the studio, it's myself, Chris.
And Ian.
And nobody.
And we have been talking about the war on drugs in various contexts. In Mexico, they have a court case that's moving through the courts. It's subject to approval from a higher court that will decriminalize recreational use of cocaine for 2 individuals. You may say, well, that's pretty silly. It should be everybody. Well, all these things have to start somewhere.
Sure.
And activists,
court cases only cover the plaintiffs.
Right.
And precedent is incidental.
Correct. And I don't know if the Mexican courts, as you pointed out, follow precedent the way we do. Precedent pretty much rules our system. And it's interesting. There are some Supreme Court cases that are going to challenge that idea of precedence in the United States, and I'll be watching those carefully. They're watching
They're challenging the idea of precedent.
They're saying is, do we put so much faith in precedents? You know, looking back at past Supreme Court cases like, you know, Kiramatsu versus U.S., where, you know, it's okay, according to the Supreme Court, that you lock people up based on what country or what nationality they are. We could look at precedents and we could say it's okay to sterilize certain people that we don't think should ever breed. That was
well, not really, because the I mean those precedents don't exist in
why don't they
modern America, because they've been overturned.
Well,
due to political change over time.
The Beau case, which dealt with sterilization, has never been overturned. I'm not sure that Kiramatsu has ever been overturned.
Well, you try starting a sterilization program, see what happens to you.
I understand
it's not going to go well for you.
But we're talking about today.
Wait, forced sterilization or just voluntary?
Forced sterilization by the state of Virginia versus a mentally retarded woman who was under state care, and they ruled, the Supreme Court ruled, and it's never been overturned, saying that, yes, the state has a interest in making sure that she does not breed.
Well, if the state of Virginia picks up that peculiar hobby again, I'm sure they'll find out very quickly that it will be overruled.
This is why I don't like the idea of putting a lot of faith in precedents. I think every
because
issue
legal
should
opinions change.
Exactly, and society changes. And there are a whole lot of things that are being done right now in Washington that I'll say half the country, at least the Democrats, they hate everything that Donald Trump does. And if Donald Trump gets taken to court and there happens to be some precedents, they will be the first ones to say, well, we shouldn't be taking that so seriously. And to me, it seems like lazy lawyering. All I got to do is enough research until I find something that establishes precedents for what I believe.
What you're talking about is a concept called sterdisis. Okay, and I don't know the literal translation of that, but it's the idea that the Supreme Court should not randomly reverse itself on a regular basis. Now, the reason for that is because that's where you get stability. That's where you get the idea that, if the Supreme Court ruled that Glick has a right to record the police, and the Supreme Court has ruled that somebody else has the right to record the police, and the Supreme Court will probably also find that I have a right to record the police.
So that explains why Dred Scott, that case was so influential, because it gave at least some quarters in the slave-owning states something to rely on that said, well, Supreme Court, you shouldn't go back and reverse yourself too often. And you already sort of said slavery was okay, so don't go changing it.
But then again, it's also the thing that makes it possible to operate an abortion clinic in a state where the abortion laws are still on the books. It's possible to do that because that the precedent is that abortion is considered legal in the United States, and Supreme Court isn't going to randomly change that tomorrow without an intervening act of Congress. So, but then again, there are some things obviously that are just horrible decisions that should be overturned. Wickard v. Filburn.
Right. So you're picking and choosing which ones you're okay with.
With overturning? Well, of course.
Right.
Of course. I don't want to change the things that I agree with. I want to change the things that I disagree with.
Of course.
That's true of
but
everybody.
When the Supreme Court comes back and says, the fact that the guy's selling wheat in Montana, he's affecting commerce in every other state of wheat. Therefore, that needs to stand. There's precedent. I think it's going to be interesting should the Supreme Court take up these cases that are going to challenge the role of precedents in it. Just like I said, to me,
they
and
may
I'm not a
change
lawyer.
some precedents, but they're not going to change the role of precedent in the system because it's integral to how the system works. You can't.
Yeah, that's true. That would be like changing the
It's
entire
essential.
Western court system. The term that you mentioned, Nobody, I'd only heard previously. It was actually State Rep Dick Marple.
Interesting.
Used the term. He pronounced it, and I did look it up. It's stare decisis. It's
stare decisis.
Latin, and in Latin it means let the decision stand. In the United States and England, the common law has traditionally adhered to the precedents of earlier cases as source of law. The principle known as stare decisis distinguishes the common law from civil law systems, which give great weight to codes of laws and the opinions of scholars explaining them. Under stare decisis, once a court has answered a question, the same question in other cases must elicit the same response from the same court or lower courts in that jurisdiction, which of course would mean that a higher court is the only thing that can overturn it and set new precedent.
Yeah. So I guess, and the articles I've been reading have pointed to the newly much more conservative Supreme Court saying that they are going to challenge certain aspects of that, and I'm not in a position to discuss it, meaning I don't know what the
Well, they
heck
can't
the
challenge
cases
anything
are.
unless a case is brought in front of them.
Right. Apparently they have a few cases that would stand up, can be a springboard for jumping into that question. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on. Like I said, to me, I think a court should look at every case fresh. And you can certainly look at things, but if your just default move is to rely on previous on precedents, that seems kind of lazy to me, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, to me, it's let's take an advice from my personal life. I happen to be a felon, and there was a case in New Hampshire, a peculiar case, where a guy was arrested for being a felon in possession of a deadly weapon,
right?
Because he had a bow and arrow. And he was out on his property, ironically enough, shooting at porcupines with it. And so he was arrested for being a felon in possession of a deadly. And the court ruled that because he was not using it in a way that could cause deadly harm to a man, it was not a deadly weapon in that context. What stare decisis gives me is the expectation that if I get arrested with a machete in my trunk, that the same thing will happen because the legal situations are analogous. The law has not changed, so I should expect the same thing from the court.
And you did get arrested with a machete in your trunk.
Yeah, and we shall see whether they decide to overcome the precedent in that case. I hope they shall not.
855-450-FREE. It's an interesting concept, but we have a long history of the Supreme Court doing really stupid things. Maybe they should take a look at some of these old cases. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Living in a more free society isn't going to help you much if your life isn't free. If you're stuck at a job, business, or relationship where you are not free, what good is a free society to you? You can live a more free life. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
Property.
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's free as in freedom, free as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Chris, Ian, and Nobody, and we've been talking just a little bit about the Supreme Court and this idea of stare decisis. And I was educated. Thank you, Nobody. Thank you, Ian, because I really didn't know much about it. But it has to do with precedents, and in
stare decisis, for those just tuning in, is the Latin, of course, the concept that once a decision is made by a court, that same decision needs to continue to be made by that same court or lower courts until the higher court overturns said decision.
So this is a quick little read, and I like this about Christian Science Monitor, csmonitor.com. You can click on, just give me an overview of it. And the title is, Overruled is the Precedent in Danger at the Supreme Court. Why we wrote this, honoring legal precedent, or stare decisis, has been in place for hundreds of years. The question of how high the bar should be set for overturning is one open to debate, a debate that has been going on this term between conservative and liberal judges. As the United States Supreme Court nears the end of its first term with reliable conservative five-justice majority, a debate over when to overturn precedent has surged back to prominence. Two long-standing precedents have been overturned in 5-4 decisions split along ideological lines. In a climate where the fate of higher-profile precedents like Roe v. Wade are uncertain, the justices have been writing at length about how they think the court's approach to handling precedents should change. Stare decisis, a doctrine dating back to English common law, the court should follow the precedents set by previous cases, is not a, quote, universal and inexorable command, unquote, Justice Louis Brandeis wrote in 1932, but it is, quote, usually a wise policy because in most matters it is more important than the applicable rule of law be settled than it is settled, that it's more important that it be settled right. Since the Supreme Court justices...
No, you didn't read that. It said there correctly.
No, I did not. But it, quote, is usually the wise policy because in most matters it is more important that the applicable rule of law be settled than that it be settled right.
That's very confusing
unquote.
To me. I understood what it said. They're saying it's more important that the rule of law be settled than it be settled right.
That's exactly what he said.
I'm still not sure what that really means.
That may have been...
Well, there's saying that it's more important to have it settled as in unchanging than to have the proper answer.
I see what you're saying. That's a terrible thing to say.
Well, in some cases I agree with it, and in some cases I disagree with it. I don't think I think a lot of it depends on whether it's on the state side. I don't think I think the court should think very hard before finding that something that it previously found to be a right was not a right. But at the same time, if the court is reducing the burden on the citizens, then it's not really harming anybody. It's just
I get it, but you're
refraining from.
Well, I would consider that
rights.
settling it right.
Yeah, you're being wishful about which cases the court's going to take and how they're going to decide. If they toss out stare decisis on things that they don't like, then they are legislating from the bench.
Right.
Overturning precedent is not always a bad thing. If the Supreme Court can't overturn a bad precedent, the only other option is a constitutional amendment.
Right, and they are the highest court in the U.S., so they are more, I would say, probably more. It's more accepted when they overturn themselves. It does, it has happened, right? There have been a number of times where that has happened. I guess the real question is, can a lower court go against its previous decisions? In which case, that may be something that could get a judge in some hot water, perhaps.
Or overturned again.
Right, or overturned again.
Generally, what happens is, the lower judge will put in a heterodox ruling, and of course, the side that's harmed by this
they'll appeal and they'll say they violated stare decisis, and then
maybe the higher court will agree with them that whatever was going on was wrong, maybe not, but stare decisis militates on the side of not.
I guess one of the things this summary or whatever hasn't made clear is what exactly are they arguing about? They cited a justice from the 1930s, but the story is saying that the current justices are bringing this issue up and that they're split along ideological lines. So what I'm not clear on, and it may be a real minor legal point that we're even talking about here, I don't know. What are the ideological sides here on stare decisis?
Well, and I think that's where they encourage you to do the deep read. Overturning precedent is not always a bad thing. If the Supreme Court can't overturn bad precedent, the only other option is a constitutional amendment. But the high court must balance that with an obligation not to sow too much uncertainty over what the law of the land is. At stake is not just the future of precedents like Roe, court watchers say, but public confidence in the court itself. So
the idea being if they change their mind, it looks bad. Oh, the court's always changing their mind on stuff. So even if they determine, slavery, it's bad, but we reversed ourselves too recently.
Live.
Yeah, you're too early there.
Are you sure?
We reversed ourselves too frequently recently, so we're not going to reverse ourselves this time. Even though it's the right thing to do, we're not going to reverse ourselves this time, because if we're seen as reversing ourselves more than once every half a century, then people are going to start to think the rule of law is a bunch of opinions of men, which is, of course, exactly what it is, backed by weapons.
Right, and I look at it as, if you're reversing, let's I can't remember the full case, but Bell and the state of Virginia. I think it was Bell versus
the telephone company.
No, this had to do with
the inventor?
Forced sterilization.
Oh, okay.
Where the Supreme Court found for the state of Virginia that it was right to, it was allowed to require sterilization of a mentally retarded woman, and it hasn't been overturned. I think.
Well, of course, if they stop doing it, the decision will never be overturned until unless somebody else does it. The government starts trying to do that again. So there's a lot of weird stuff on the books that would probably be overturned if it was ever revisited.
And I think there are a lot of people who would look at, just for example, the Trump presidency and say there is so much weird stuff that we would have never imagined going on, or conversely, Republicans would have looked at the Obama administration. So there is so much weird stuff that we would never envision going on that it would not have come up until it does come up. And
the power you give to your guys when they're in office will be abused by the next guys when they're in office.
We're talking about Supreme Court, and we got some phone calls we are going to go to, but there's plenty of time for you to get on the air. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, free as in no, there is no such thing as a free lunch. 855-450-3733. That is our toll-free number. That's the number you can call to get on the air. You can also use our Discord lines, and in just a moment, we're going to go to Discord because we've got a caller waiting there. Discord is a very cool app. use the Discord app, use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you will sound very good. It's very good quality. We used to take calls on another internet phone system that shall remain unnamed, but still is pretty popular. But Discord is just, it's been better. And we've really been happy with it. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
And Ian.
And nobody.
And we've been talking about Supreme Court and the idea of precedents. The current court seems to be in a mood to overrule previous decisions by said Supreme Court. And some of these are 30, 40, 50 years old, but rely on rulings that came in the 1800s. And they want to take a fresh view of these sorts of cases, and we've just been talking it. This concept of stare decisis, which I had never heard of.
It's Latin.
It is Latin, and you can look it up, but it is the idea that, courts should first look to what have they done before as they approach cases, and precedents in our court system seems to, and throughout English common law countries, probably holds a lot of weight, and how often should courts look at those, and should they be reluctant to overturn previous decisions?
So basically, the conservative majority now on the Supreme Court has been overturning some stuff, and so the other justices are mad about that because they're saying that, whoa, you need to not be so overturny because it makes us look indecisive. Is that the idea?
Well, that and the idea that the conservatives on the Supreme Court are taking this opportunity where they have a strong majority meaning 5-4, they can rule. If they stay together, they can rule every time. They could overturn all sorts of things. Of major concern would be Roe versus Wade to the conservative wing and the liberal wing.
The thing that I would really like to see overturned, though, is Wickard v. Filburn.
Which one's that?
Wickard v. Filburn was the one where it was found that a man was engaged in interstate commerce while growing wheat on his own land to feed to his own animals.
That's crazy.
And
never sold it out of state?
Basically changed the Commerce Clause from the government can regulate interstate commerce to the government can regulate anything that ever touches or affects interstate commerce.
Right.
Which is not what the Constitution says.
The argument was that by growing wheat, even though he wasn't selling it across state lines, he was affecting interstate commerce. And this decision, you're exactly right, Rich, this decision has impacted our lives I think more than any other bad decision.
Yeah, and this decision was instrumental in a California weed case recently, where basically the argument was made that the government didn't have the authority to regulate marijuana or to outlaw marijuana, and they said, oh, yeah, we do, because it affects interstate commerce, even though it can't legally be sold between states.
Oh, brilliant. But these are the types of things that come out, and it's going to be interesting to watch some of these cases. I'm not a big Supreme Court watcher, but I try to at least know kind of what's going on, and certainly Trump's appointments have had an impact on the Supreme Court. As every president's, if they are in a position where they get to make some nominations, and they can talk about the Supreme Court being, it's nonpartisan, it's very independent. No, it's going to be set up whoever gets the luck of the draw by which judges retire or die. That's who's going to set the agenda, and that's what's happening now. We're going to go to Discord, where we've got Turd Ferguson on the line. Turd, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Uh-oh. That's probably our sound card. It hasn't done that in a long time because it's actually a brand new device, and I was hoping that would not happen with the new device.
Well, dang it.
I'm so sorry about
Turd,
that.
I'm putting you on hold. We're going to try to...
we'll see if we can figure that out
see if we
during
can
the break.
we'll call the tech support people, who I'm looking at.
I'm
right
here.
now.
I just can't do anything during the show.
Can't do anything. Can't really reboot everything during the show, so we might not get back to you. But again, presidents do affect precedents if they are able to stack a particular court in favor of what they believe in while they're in, and if the justices decide to go along with ideology, then it can have implications that can last for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah, if Trump were to replace another one or two justices, that would be a really powerful block that would change the world for decades.
Right now, it's, I believe, a 5-4 majority if you were to consider ideological lines, so conservative versus liberal. And this is, the Supreme Court has so much power. Originally, it was there to hear occasional disputes. That all changed with Marbury v. Madison, and the judges, believe it or not, granted the Supreme Court a lot more power, and through precedents,
shocking,
have kept it. And the idea of judicial review, that they can review anything that the legislative branch does and determine it to be constitutional or unconstitutional, that in itself basically put the Supreme Court at the top of the heap in your three legs of the American Constitution and the three major branches of government. So it's
they became the skyhook.
They did, and that's I think it needs a rebalancing. Now, if the Supreme Court came out and said, you know what, we don't like that. We think that the states should be able to petition whether laws are constitutional or not. And we'll say that, if 2/3 of states agree that a particular law is unconstitutional, then that would overturn our precedents, or they could make that a judicial claim through state courts.
Well, there used to be a tool through which states could do that sort of thing. It was called the Senate, because senators were appointed by state legislatures, and the Senate was expected to speak for the state government.
But then they changed it and made it popular elections.
Yeah, 17th Amendment changed it to popular elections, and I think that was actually a blow against federalism.
The biggest blow. So right now, folks, you have the government. You have the president, and he represents the executive branch of government. You have the House of Representatives that, we elect them. They are allegedly represent us. And then you have the Senate, who is elected through very high stakes, expensive campaigns. So they represent the special interests. And that's how American government works now.
Except they all represent the special interests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Corporations, politically connected.
When you took that away from the states, then the states in what's supposed to be federalism as a rule, that went out the window and hasn't been seen since.
More centralized power.
Hey, yay. 855-450-FREE. We're talking about all kinds of exciting stuff, and maybe you don't want to talk about that. Change the subject. Give us a call. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
If you feel you've been lied to, pressured, or misled into buying your timeshare, you have the right to cancel completely. This is Steve Sanchez, and I'd like to introduce you to Wesley Financial Group, the leading top-rated timeshare cancellation company in the country. That's right, no more excessive fees or lifetime commitments that make you feel like you're serving a prison sentence. Founded by CEO Chuck McDowell, company in the world just to help you get out of your timeshare. Too good to be true? No. Countless testimonials and the highest ratings from the Better Business Bureau make Wesley Financial Group the real deal, and their money-back guarantee they put in writing makes them the Steve Sanchez choice for successfully canceling your timeshare guaranteed. To get their free information kit, call 1-800-475-1919. That's 1-800-475-1919, or visit them at timesharecancellation.com. That's 1-800-475-1919.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Final segment. If you call right now, we can still get you on the air. And, Ian, we were talking earlier about, refresh my memory, we've been on so many subjects today.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier discussions we ended up talking about why it is that we felt like, or nobody certainly felt like, that the S word had become more welcome on broadcast television.
And this was during the story we were talking about the emergency alerts system was being accidentally played on a couple different shows, and the FCC fined them all about $600,000 total because it played during The Walking Dead.
Well, it wasn't an accident during The Walking Dead.
Right. They were using it as part of the show, and Jimmy Kimmel used it in a skit, and therefore people must be fined. But yeah, when did the S word get used on TV.
Well, you had brought up NYPD Blue, nobody, and according to the story here at Ars Technica,
Nobody knows.
That did happen. 2008, the story here says that apparently the FCC did end up throwing the indecency book at ABC television stations, but not for the S word. They did it over the February 2003 episode where portions of a naked woman's buttocks were shown. And you may recall this controversy back when I
saw those buttocks
when it happened.
You said that very Forrest Gump-like.
They were lovely buttocks.
FCC Commissioner Deborah Taylor at the time said, quote, "Our action today should serve as a reminder to all broadcasters that Congress and American families continue to be concerned about protecting children from harmful material and that the FCC will enforce the laws of the land vigilantly." The commission ruled against the NYPD Blue scene, which broadcast at 9 p.m. in Central and Mountain time zones, in which a pre-adolescent boy accidentally walked in on an older woman undressing in the bathroom. He backs out and apologizes, but not before viewers got a glance at the woman's naked behind.
Oh, and there must have been tens of millions of callers and many complaints about... I bet there were.
There were complaints.
I bet there were. I bet there were a few dozen.
There's certain activist groups, certain religious-based activist groups that even if they don't see the thing happen, they get an email from their group, and the group says, "Oh, this happened on NYPD Blue on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock in this time zone, and if you are offended by it, even though you didn't see it, you should send a letter to the FCC, and here's how to do it." The FCC declared the scene indecent because, quote, "it depicts sexual organs and excretory organs," which, by the way, butt cheeks are neither of those things.
It's true.
Specifically, an adult woman's buttocks, according to the commission's notice of apparent liability. ABC attorneys defended the show, arguing the buttocks do not constitute a sexual organ, which is true. The FCC declared, "We reject this argument, which runs counter to both case law and common sense."
Unbelievable.
Well, forget about science. Whoa, we don't need any science in here about what an actual sex organ is, which is to say an organ with the capability to reproduce.
Well, it's interesting.
It's not what's sexy. That's not what a sex organ is.
Right. And it's insanity.
Well,
I was thinking back to Nipplegate.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Janet Jackson.
Oh, yeah. That was like 05.
That was a big deal. I was just looking this up. The FCC fined CBS a record $550,000, which was fought in the Supreme Court, but the fine was appealed and voided in a case to reinstate the fine. A case that attempted to reinstate the fine was refused to be heard in 2012. So.
Right, and I wanted to bring that case up, the 2012 case, because the story at Ars Technica made me wonder, because this is an old story. It was 2008 from Ars Technica. It's more than a decade ago. My thought was, well, were there any further rulings about so-called fleeting expletives, which would be an accidental, in the case supposedly Janet Jackson wants you to believe that wasn't planned. But in the case of an accidental expletive on the air or fleeting nip slip or whatever, that no big deal, let it slide. According to the Wikipedia article about fleeting expletives, in June of 2012, the Supreme Court rescinded several fines issued by the FCC regarding indecent content, including the Fox case stemming from the 2002 Billboard Music Awards. That's not the same thing as Janet Jackson.
Right.
The court ruled that the FCC's change in enforcement policy to target fleeting instances of profanity and nudity on television was too vague, thus violating the defendant's right to due process. The court, however, did not address the policies themselves. So while they threw out several fines that were issued over fleeting expletives or brief indecent content, they did not overturn the bad restrictive policies. So now we come back to the question of the S word on television, on broadcast TV. So again, back to Ars Technica. The agency, again, rejected NYPD Blue. They fined the ABC television stations that aired it. Lastly, the broadcasting company insisted that it had received only a modest number of complaints for the program. to which the FCC replied the agency received, quote, numerous complaints, including thousands of letters from members of various citizen advocacy groups. The commission may have been referring to the TV and decency busybodies. Oh, I'd forgotten their name. Parents Television Council. These are the people who send out the emails, the PTC known for encouraging its members to complain about shows they haven't even watched. The FCC proposed a $27,500 fine for each of the ABC affiliate stations who broadcast the show, which came to a total of $1.4 million. The agency could have hit the network even harder, as they could have hit them with up to $325,000 per violation. The FCC has shown lenience in the past towards NYPD Blue. In November of 2007, the commission fined Fox in their 2002 and 2003 broadcasts of the Billboard Music Awards which the agency said violated its new policy regarding fleeting expletives. Cher used the phrase F 'em, and Nicole Richie asked her audience if they had, quote, ever tried to get cow S out of a Prada purse. It's not so effing simple. So that was what was overturned.
Fairly clear, yeah.
That fine was overturned by the Supreme Court in 2012. But the same decision, the agency let an episode of NYPD Blue off the hook for repeatedly airing the word BS because the complainant had filed charges against a broadcast of the program aired after 10 p.m., which is the beginning of television's safe harbor period. And that was what you'd speculated earlier, Chris, was that, well, if the S word appears after 10 p.m., it's probably going to be okay because according to the FCC rules, a program can be indecent between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., but it can never be so-called obscene. So indecency, they may believe, has to do with the S word, but not obscenity.
This should, if you are listening to this,
it's confusing.
Make it clear to you how dysfunctional our government is. Where is the law? There is no law. The law is we tell the FCC to do what they think is best. And the FCC counteracts itself. It speaks out of both sides of its mouth. It rules in some cases for and against. There's no consistency.
And it doesn't have any constitutional excuse for existing. There's no authority.
Come on.
There's no constitutional authority, and there's a First Amendment that says that Congress will pass no law abridging freedom of speech and of the press. Well, that's exactly what the FCC does every day. Is it says we will choose who may speak and we will choose who may not speak.
No. You can speak all you want. The FCC is only regulating the broadcast spectrum. You can speak. They don't tell you what you can and can't say.
Well, sometimes that's how I speak.
Indeed.
Case in point right now.
It's true.
It's true. And it's...
So I would say it's unclear right now, based on what I've read here tonight, that you can say the S word on broadcast television. I don't think that you can get away with it before 10 p.m. After 10 p.m., maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
But the whole point of this...
But keep in mind, 10 p.m. Eastern Time is 9 p.m. Central.
And what if you happen to live somewhere in Indiana that's in one of those maybe I'm Eastern, maybe I'm not? It's insane.
Then turn off your TV if you don't like it.
Exactly.
Right.
You got a farm to run in the morning, so just go to bed. It's insane, and this is the same ideas, the same organization that comes up with laws and ways to regulate what people put in their bodies. It regulates what comes out of people's mouths, or what goes more importantly, what goes in their ears or in their eyes. That's all the time we've got tonight. The idea that government can just make decisions. The FCC can be our morality police, and we should thank them.
Well, we can't have children seeing somebody's butt crack. My God.
No, buttocks. I don't think they saw crack. I don't know.
Well, in order to see the buttocks, you got to see the crack, too, right?
Well, it depends
There was cleavage.
Butt cleavage.
Butt cleavage. See you tomorrow.
Have a good night, everybody. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy.